flying around New Jersey ports. It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should.
Oh, something's going up real fast. A plane? I can't tell what it is. Whoa, is that moving quick? That could be a drone. I don't know what that is. But that is quick. There's only one remaining right now. Whatever that green flashing one is, he moved quick around it to get it. Super quick. He's like right there with it. Oh, he's like right on it. Oh, ooh, that whatever it was just shut down the drone. If that was a drone.
I vehemently disagree with any assertion that either the FBI or the Defense Department have any idea, any clear idea, what this phenomenon is over the east coast of the United States. I'm talking to people in the FBI who are utterly baffled by this phenomenon. They tell me they do not know what these objects are. They're not getting answers. I'm told, for example, that these objects are the size of an SUV, a large SUV. So the argument from the congressman that these objects are too small to detect is not correct at all. I'm told that there have been attempts to interdict these objects and that there have been the deployment of anti-drone technology. I've just received information in the last few minutes about the PSEG nuclear site at Salem, which is the Hope Creek Generating Station on a 740-acre site in Salem County, New Jersey. And a person who is privileged enough to have access to the internal messaging about that nuclear station has told me that they tried to deploy an anti-drone technology over multiple drones that were seen over the nuclear site, and that anti-drone technology, which normally works on all drones, completely failed. Moreover, these objects, whatever they are being seen not just on the East Coast, they are being seen all over the world. I'm getting reports from here in Australia, from Japan, Indonesia, China, Russia, Europe.
It's smooth sailing at New York Stewart International Airport Saturday night, unlike the nearly hour-long delay the evening prior after a drone in the airspace stopped all flights.
It's always a nuisance.
Drones have been spotted throughout the tri-state since mid-November. The FBI says they've received about 5,000 leads since then.
It's not good.
And so they're just giant triangles with lights on them that are dead silent.
And then there's this video sent to NBC4 tonight from Hemet, a viewer saying they spotted 2 drones just after 6 o'clock. Similar sightings are spreading on the East Coast, Maryland, New York, New Jersey.
I've never seen anything like it.
They're not really doing anything. They're just existing. They're just flying around. And then the other night we found out that there was like 5 of them that we watched go from northwest to directly west, over the hill of Rancho, California, and directly towards the sea.
There are things flying overhead that they don't know their nature, and therefore it needs to be figured out, and especially if these things belong to adversarial nations. So I think it's a priority to figure out what these things are, and I'm leading the Galileo project at Harvard University. We built one observatory that monitors the sky 24/7. We just released a paper that discusses the first 500,000 objects that we found in the sky, some of which we couldn't identify. And we are building 2 other observatories in order to figure out whether there are any extraterrestrial gadgets out there.
Moving lights. Okay, we love it. So what is this? Just hanging out.
So this new video from KTLA viewer Sharon shows what appears to be a drone over the San Fernando Gardens community. That was at 4 o'clock this morning when she sent that over to our newsroom, with multiple other sightings across our part of the country. A TikTok user captured video of possibly 5 drones in Riverside. They've been spotted in Temecula as well earlier this week. So exactly what's going on? Temecula is near Camp Pendleton, a military base, but the Marines say they're not involved. Riverside County Sheriff, well, he suggests the drones could be from Southern California Edison, which inspects power lines with drones. However, the utility company says they don't fly drones at night. The Riverside County Sheriff's Office has received no formal reports, but is referring all concerns this morning to the FAA, which is now investigating. Well, the sightings began last month in New Jersey with reports of large drones, some the size of a car, flying at night. Since then, they've appeared in New York, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, and California. One local TikTok user captured footage of at least 10 drones flying over the city, saying that they vanished after turning off their lights.
For me, it leads me to believe that there is a true uncertainty about what's going on here. I find it hard to believe that the Biden administration can continue this policy of cognitive dissonance on this topic. Hundreds of people are seeing these events. They've occurred not just this year, but years in the past in the same area. And this is now a reoccurring trend that we need to come to terms with and be able to deal from a national security perspective and from a domain awareness perspective.
So as a former F-18 pilot and a trained pilot, obviously still, why don't we just shoot a couple of these down when they're over a rural area, which they are every single night in New Jersey, and get a look at them?
Well, ultimately, our systems that we typically employ, especially on fighter aircraft, are not well designed for very small targets, both from a targeting perspective as well as a collateral damage perspective. But before we talk about shooting these down, we have a lot of investment, a lot of capabilities within our government to be able to identify objects at a distance. And we need to bring the full brunt of the government and the Pentagon's force at play here to be able to understand what these are, identify them, characterize them, and if need be at that point, choose a prime target to bring down and further inspect.
Do you have a sense or a theory based on your work as to what these are?
It's very tough to say. What we do know is that this is something that we have been dealing with for multiple years in this region of the country, starting in Virginia Beach, at Langley Air Force Base last year as well. And now we're having exponentially more sightings just hundreds of miles to the north. And it's not restricted to just people on the ground. My nonprofit, Americans for Safe Aerospace, has been receiving reports from commercial pilots, military pilots, and veterans for over a year now, showing how consistent and how problematic this issue is at altitude where they're flying around. We need to have a better coordinated response and actually listen to the people on the ground and in the air that are seeing things. And I would encourage them to use this as an opportunity to destigmatize this topic, encourage more reporting, whether that be through existing mechanisms or at safeaerospace.org, so that we have a true accounting and understanding of how prevalent this problem is.
As a scientist, I can only attend to real evidence, and my hope is that if the government has such evidence, they will share it with scientists, because what lies outside the solar system is not a matter of national security. It's of interest to everyone on Earth.
Yes, I would say it's pretty fundamental, isn't it, to our understanding of the world, the solar system, the universe around us.
So many in the skies above our planet, and the government is not having daily press conferences to tell us what the is going on. Question that a lot. I question that a lot.
I don't know if you're aware, Last week or so, 2 weeks when this started, I tried to take my drone over Picatinny Arsenal to follow a drone that was just hovering over there. And as I got closer, my drone lost power, spun out, and the battery died, and it went down. But the other drone remained sitting in the air, unaffected.
Why? What do you think?
Yep. Secrets that the government don't want us to know, and they're playing stupid. Either that or aliens.
Oh, come on. Not the latter. Okay, you're smiling. All right. I'm glad. All right.
There's been more drone sightings across the country. The latest report in New York, New Jersey, and Maryland. The White House says there is no evidence of reported drones pose any threat, but that's doing little to calm concerns. People in Southern California are also reporting mysterious drone sightings, and one person captured video of lights over Temecula.
I'm going to pull this up here and show our viewers there's a big red dot. There you see it, kind of dead center of the screen. What do you think that is? What do you think people are seeing in the skies, and why only at night?
And they move really fast.
Eyewitness News cannot confirm what these videos show, but we found several people who say they saw similar lights.
These three lights that were in a sort of a triangle kind of formation, an odd looking thing, and I'm thinking that doesn't look like a plane. It started flying erratically.
Witnesses at first thinking it was aircraft heading to nearby Camp Pendleton.
You could hear them, and you couldn't hear this thing.
Angel says he's uneasy after seeing 5 zip over his head toward the Pacific Ocean.
You know, it's just kind of scary to think like who's watching, and the fact that we contacted the sheriffs, the Myriad PD commented on a post of mine, nobody knows whose they are.
This following reports of similar sightings this month in the Northeast, now under investigation by local, state, and federal authorities. A spokesperson with the FAA tells Eyewitness News the activity has more people looking up and noticing what's flying overhead.
Is this some type of federal agency? You know, listen, these drones seem sophisticated by all accounts. You know, we have a lot of false reporting.
And then I got video of where there's one there in different sections of the front yard and the backyard. You could see them through the trees, but these were completely different than what you guys were seeing. These are completely different.
You know, when things like this are happening, it seems everyone starts to look up, like my crew and I have been here in Mendham recording this video that you're looking at right now. We have no idea what it is, if it's a natural phenomenon, because it could be, but this is why so many municipalities are now asking people to reach out and send their videos to them or to experts who might be able to sort out what they're seeing in the skies. But I guarantee there are so many people looking up and making those recordings because this mystery is one that needs to be solved. For now, we're live here in Mendham Borough. Tony Yates, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Lee's saying he's wondering whether or not that might be the moon, Tony, but you pointed out it's exactly the question people are asking. What is it?
No. Yeah. Now we're looking at the moon right now, and that's nowhere near the moon.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the moon.
They didn't make a sound. It was, you know, a couple hundred feet above us. They, you just didn't know what you were looking at. It was moving across the sky very quietly, and we kept saying to each other, like, Nick and I, like, what are we looking at? Like, are you getting the shot, and what the heck are we filming? There's a couple shots you can see where you can see that it's fixed wing, and it doesn't look like a plane. It almost looks like inverted. It sounds crazy as I say this now, Brian, like that's what you're seeing on the screen. That's what we were seeing right above our heads, and it happened till about 11:30 at night, and then it started to like die off, and I was like, we could stay out here all night, but I went to bed. This is my community. I've never seen these things in the sky over my community before. I went to bed thinking, like, this is wild. These things are flying over our homes, over our residences. There's a military, Earl, which is a munitions depot just like about a mile and a half behind me. They've reported sightings of these things above, and they said they're ready to take action if they need to. This is, for naysayers out there, like, this is real.
So how many did you see at once, Rich? Was it just the one, or?
Well, no, I think we would see a couple at a time in various parts of the sky over this water. And we'd be like, oh, we didn't get the shot on that one. And they'd be like, well, wait, we'll just wait. You know, I'm sure there'll be another one. And sure enough, like one started creeping towards us, and it's like, it felt like I was in a bad sci-fi movie, like that it was just that I was placed in, but it involved my actual hometown. It was very, very surreal.
I mean, to hear you saying this, again, it just sort of hits me in a different way coming from you. Wow.
The buzz is very big in the desert Southwest, where it's really never gone away after some weird happenings in the skies over Phoenix recently. And here's NBC's Robert Hager.
This is one of several home videos recorded that night last March. A few say they saw the lights as far as 100 miles north of Phoenix. Many more saw them over the city or to the south.
It was the evening of March 13th, 1997. People across Arizona, especially here in the valley, reported seeing a silent, miles-long V-shaped group of lights gliding quietly overhead. Was it a military mission, a prank perhaps, or visitors from outer space? The questions and confusion over the sighting have only grown during the prevailing years.
Some, like Tim and Bobby Lee, claim they saw even more.
Something was there. It was a structure. It was going 35 miles an hour. It was huge. It didn't make a sound. And you tell me what can do that.
It was flying low. It was within half a mile of me. There's no plane path at that point, and it didn't act like a plane. A plane can't turn that fast, and it also had oddly spiral kinds of movements that you just don't see with a plane.
And so it was last
night. No noise. Again, no noise. Yeah.
No
exactly.
noise. Rich, you were out on the story last night, didn't know what to expect, and take it from there. I mean, what happened?
Off the top, I've been skeptical of this story. As a resident of New Jersey, as a journalist here, I thought it was going to be some sort of yahoos, and we would get a laugh out of this in several weeks. What happened yesterday completely changed my entire view on this story. Earlier in the afternoon, I was out with the Ocean City Sheriff's Department. They have a drone unit. They've investigated these things. What they've saw a bunch over the weekend. We did not see any with them last night. I was coming back home. I got a tip. Monmouth County, they're spotting them in Monmouth County. That's where I live. So I raced up here, and I tried to figure out where the picture was that somebody sent me. And sure enough, I saw one. So I trailed it to a neighborhood, a dead-end street, and I got out of my car. And I took my phone out with my iPhone, and I couldn't really capture it, but I was staring literally at this drone 200 feet above me, maybe. I called our photographer, Nick, and I said, get up here as soon as you possibly can, meet me at this location, etc. I tracked a few more to the location where we are right now, over a body of water behind us. And I gotta say, Brian, over the next 2 hours, we saw dozens and dozens of these things, and they look like nothing you've ever seen before.